everybody, welcome to CFC Fan TV. I hope you're well. Thank you so much for your support on our segment yesterday, the Premier League Pizza Roundup. That's a new segment that we're going to be doing every single week, so we're glad that you like it. And it's actually just quite nice to discuss our competition and everything like that, isn't it? So I think throughout the season, I think we're actually going to have a very good season, but I think obviously it's just good to know what our opponents are doing every weekend as well, so that when we come to face them, we sort of have an idea of what we're up against. Obviously, I know with Man City, we know that we're up against a very tough opposition, but teams are there to be beaten, so you just never know, do you? But yeah, thank you so much for that. Today I'm actually in the pub. Don't know if you can see. They've got some really nice penguin pillows. Yeah, I might stick with penguin pillow. I quite like it in here. Yeah, so today's video, I thought we'd focus on a player that a lot of you think very highly of. I know, really interested in him last season when he was at Palace, and I think it's time to discuss it because from what I heard, he was very upset that he didn't feature in the game against Arsenal, although I think that would probably be just a little bit more his self pride and things like that, because I think actually, to be fair, Sarri got it spot on in the end. So that is Ruben Loftus Cheek. Now, I think the important thing to remember here and the important thing to discuss here is that with the likes of Kovacic coming in, he now isn't first choice. Not that he was beforehand, but I think a lot of Chelsea fans think that Loftus Cheek deserves to be in the starting 11. For me, I think he is a very talented footballer. I think he's still very young. I think he obviously knows that if he wants to be playing first team football week in, week out, which he can do at the moment, which he obviously had the option to. He went and played at Palace last season and did very well, and obviously he was in the England squad. So I think a lot of you are thinking, if a player's in the England squad, why on earth is he not now featuring in our starting 11? We know how Chelsea operate. We know, and I'm sure that he should know that when a player like Kovacic comes in from Real Madrid, even though he is only a season-long loan, and as me and Rory said yesterday, we don't have the option currently to buy him permanently, which I think actually is a little bit unfortunate. And I think I'd be very surprised if he wasn't a main factor in why we finished very high up this. I'm not saying we're going to win the Premier League, but I'm saying if Kovacic isn't a main reason why we don't succeed and do very well, I'd be very surprised, because I think from what I saw, him coming on, making his debut against our London rivals and putting in a performance like that alongside the likes of Hazard, who is our best, to many of you, the best player in the Premier League, if not the best player in our team, although you know I love Kante. I'd be very surprised. I just thought he was brilliant, and I'd be surprised if Loftus Cheek could maintain his spot alongside when we've got that talent on the bench. And we know Chelsea, the minute they sign a big player, our youngsters sort of take a back seat. I do think we'll see the likes of Hudson-Odoi and players of that feature 100%. And I do think we'll see Loftus Cheek feature. I think he is, like I say, he's a talent. He's a great player to have on the bench or on the pitch. I think for him, the main question is would it be beneficial to him to go on loan? I don't think he can go on loan in England. I think he can go to Spain and abroad. So that might be an option for him if he wants to play first team football. And even it might still be good for him. You know, he's still very young. To be this young and to make it into the England squad already and to be doing very well in the Premier League. You know, not a lot of youngsters do that these days. It's very hard for them to break through. Even, you know, the teams in the bottom half of the table still make signings from abroad. So I think he's doing really well. I just think to be angry at the fact that you didn't feature in the Arsenal game doesn't necessarily make sense for me. For him as a player, of course, it would do. So what I keep hearing some noise somewhere. So for him, for his career, I do think he'll feature in Chelsea this season if he stays. I think we're going to be playing a lot of games, especially, you know, Europa League. I don't know how he feels about that, and a lot of you fans aren't motivated in the Europa League just yet. But yeah, once those games start, he will be able to feature a lot more. Once the FA Cup starts, you know, we're going to be having quite a lot of weeks where we have 2 games a week, and he is going to need to feature in that. I know Ross Barkley has obviously impressed Sarri in training, and that's why he's featuring a little bit more than what we saw last season. I mean, we've only played 2 games, it's very hard to tell. But I think he is open to using a lot of his options, and obviously we don't know what goes on in training, so he's obviously seeing Barkley do something maybe that others aren't. I don't know. I don't think Ross Barkley is number 1, but he's definitely a very good alternative if we need to rest certain players. And I do think Loftus Cheek will get his chance, but if he is looking for a starting 11 place week in, week out with Chelsea Football Club this season, even like, you know, even the fact that he played in the World Cup this year, I don't think it's going to happen. It's really irrelevant. Yeah, it's a tough one, really. I think Sarri, even himself, is still trying to find his starting 11. But when you have quality in the team like Kovacic, from what we saw, and we obviously don't want to get ahead of ourselves, because I mean, Morata came and had a great few games, and he got injured, and it all sort of went downhill from there. So I don't want to say, and even Bakayoko had a great game from what I remember against Atletico Madrid away. He started off relatively well, and then obviously that went sideways. So we still don't know if he's going to impress the way I think he's going to impress. As a comment below, and what do you think of Kovacic so far, you can let me know. But I do think it will be hard for Loftus Cheek to get a place in the starting 11 if he wants it week in, week out. I don't see that happening. I think Sarri is definitely going to rotate his squad a lot more this year. I think what we saw with Antonio Conte is that he was extremely stubborn in the fact that if he made his mind up about a certain team, or he didn't want to use certain players that maybe the board had brought in, or whoever, that obviously cost us results towards the end of the season. Obviously, I love what Conte did for us in the first season he was with us. But yeah, I think you have to take into consideration all those factors, and I do reckon that Loftus Cheek will be taking a bit of a backseat this season, much more than you fans want him to. So yeah, comment below and let me know your thoughts on this. I don't think he should leave. I think he should stay with Chelsea this season. I think next season, if he gets a very good offer, which I'm sure he will do, and he does want to play first team football, then fine. But I do think he wants to play for Chelsea and sort of become a regular here. I know, like I say, I know a lot of you think he's capable of that, and I'm not saying that he isn't. I just don't know whether he fits into the team as it stands and how we're working at the moment. Sarri obviously has an idea of how, you know, his style of play and how he wants to play football. And again, I don't think it's necessarily them thinking that Sarri and his team thinking that he's not capable of doing the job. I think he's trying to figure out who works well together. And from what we saw, Hazard and Kovacic work very well together. Kante and Jorginho work very well together. Rudiger and David Luiz are going to hopefully create this partnership. You know, Dave's still trying. I think he's going to try and find his feet being that far out, even though he is a right back. But when we've moved in so many times, he probably doesn't even have a clue what's going on. Alonso works best in his position. You know, there's very few places for him to be. I think it would involve, like I say, resting a lot of players in more of our, I wouldn't say lower league games, I would say our League Cups, our FA Cup and things like that. So I do think, like I said, I do think he'll get his chance. I just don't think it's going to be what he expects as a player. And I think he's probably thinking, I played for England this year in the World Cup and proved myself there, so why am I not getting ahead of Barkley and whoever else, wherever else he would fit in the team. And I do see his point. I would empathise with him on that. But yeah, I think that him not being too happy that he didn't start against Arsenal, if that is the case, I don't think that's necessary, because I think Sarri made some very good changes in the second half there, and they were the right ones, and it was always going to be a really tough game. So he obviously went with who he thought impressed the most. So yeah, like I say, comment below. Do you think Ruben Loftus Cheek should go out on loan? Let me know. Do you think Kovacic is a better option? Do you think Loftus Cheek is a better option? Who would you rather have our midfield centred around? Because I think Kovacic is a fantastic signing. I mean, I didn't know much about him before he came, I won't lie, even though he did play for Real Madrid. I'm never going to lie and tell you I know about a player if I don't. From what I saw on YouTube and clips like that, obviously I'm massive on YouTube, watching. So yeah, so not I'm massive on YouTube. I mean, I watch YouTube a lot. So yeah, like I say, I think he's great. From the clips I've seen, he definitely offers something different that we haven't had. The way he plays football, how he intercepts the ball, things like that. I don't think we've had a player like that before, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what he can do this season. So yes, please comment below, let me know your thoughts, and Rory and Charlie will be back with more videos tomorrow. And please, of course, subscribe.